everybody, this is Chris. Thank you for joining me. In today's video, I'm going to show you another way to make beautiful bows. And look at these bows. They are absolutely brilliant. You can use these, of course, on all your projects, whether it's scrapbooking or card making or on a gift box. That would be great. And for that, it's very simple. You just need to have oval dies. So as you can see, these ovals are not big enough, are not very big. I'm sorry, they're big enough, but they're not super big. If I compare this with a card, you can see that, but it doesn't matter because it's going to make a very big bow anyway. And you have a variety when you have nesting dies like this to make different bows. So for example here, I have these 3 bows and I've skipped one every time to see how it was gonna go. And you can see the difference is huge, even though here, if you skip one out of 2, it's not so big. So the last one I did here, oh no, that's the one. That's the biggest one I've used actually. So there's another one here. The biggest one I've used is this one. So as you can see, it's going to make a really big bow. It doesn't have to be huge, but you could make huge ones if you had bigger dies. Something that is important here is that you should have very ovally shaped dies, not too rounded. The more round they're going to be, the less bow it's going to like. So it's going to look like. So it really needs to be like in an oblong shape like these. You can clearly see that they're ovals. So that's important. Give it a try with what you have and then you'll check out. So in order to do this, and I just wanted to show you that from close. I love the ribbon in the center. I've changed the color. So you need to cut first 2 pieces, and I've already made some more, but I'm going to show you the biggest one. I think it's easier on the camera. So once you've cut your pieces, and that's also a good way to use up your scraps, just punch holes, punch oblong shapes like this, circles. I showed you how you can make flowers with leftover paper, and that's really, really good. So once you're at this point, you're going to put them in shapes. You could do this, you know, on the side of your table if you wanted to. I like to use my bone folder because I have more control. And we are going to cut the fibers a little bit and put it in shape. So we won't have a harsh line when we'll start gluing these babies together. And I've used thick paper here, thick cardstock, but you could use thin cardstock. It doesn't matter. Just be careful when you're doing this stage not to rip it apart. All right. Something that can be useful also is getting some clothespins because this is a very heavy cardstock. It tends to spin back. So I'm just going to use glue here. Use a strong drying glue if you can. Is that going to be enough? I'm going to put a little bit more. I'm going to put these and align them together. Pinch it a little bit. You don't need much. And then you're just going to use the clothespins to make sure it's going to dry like this. I'm going to do the same thing on the other one and align both edges along. And I'm just going to wait a few seconds to do this. While I'm doing this, you can go for another projects who cut even more. All right, I think now they have dried enough. So we can take the clothespins off. We're going to take the same. And now what I'm going to do, make sure that you put them in the same direction. As you see, I have kind of a pattern. They look like leaves or little balloons. So try not to put them this way. It's not that important, but it looks better when it's the same direction. So now I'm going to put a little bit of glue just there. And we are going to overlap them just a little bit. So before it dries, make sure that you don't put them crooked like this, okay? They should be kind of vertical on the same side. And it doesn't have to overlap a lot, just a little bit. Meanwhile, what I'm going to do here, and I can see I didn't do that. So that's going to be my back. I can see that probably when I put the clothespins. This one moved a little bit, so this is going to be my back. And I'm going to cut a little strip of paper. You could use the same paper if you want to, but I think it's nice to have a little contrast. And the width is totally up to you. I think that it's nicer when it's a bit wider than too thin, specifically because this one is quite big. So it's going to be, I think, a little over a centimeter But you decide. All right. And I like this one because it's also very shiny. Can you see this? Even these have some shine to it. Can you see it? I think you can. They have a little glitter and also they're super shiny. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put that right here. I want a little bit of this bug to show up. And fold it along. Yes, that's perfect. And then it's a bit short. I should have waited. Sorry. I should have waited for this to be completely dry, but that's going to be fine. I'm going to go back, put this here. Yep, I think it's a bit short, but we're going to manage. A little bit of glue on the back. And glue it down. And now you have a super pretty bow. I'm going to let this one dry a little bit. I don't want to move it right now, but you have the same one here. It's exactly the same size, and you can stack them up. So I think it would probably be nicer to use either all the same or using contrasting colors, because if I do this here, for example, maybe this one on top, you can see that it goes a little smaller, but I don't think you can't really see it. But if I can use these two, I think this is going to fit perfectly. And even a little one there. Look at this one. You can use this one, or because it's the same, I could use just the tiny one on top. Let me show you from closer. This could be nice as well, because they're all the same. This one could be nice, just two, or you could put the tiny little one here. And you can see the difference of sizes. I think it's nice doing this way. You would probably need some hot glue to do that. So you make sure it's going to end up really nice, so they will all stick together. And the last one on top. I think it's really going to look pretty. So again, either all of them the same or different contrasting colors. And it's so easy to do. They also look like butterflies. So you can leave them as is, or if you want to give them a bit more dimension, what you can do is just put it like this. Fluff them up a little bit. And then you just put them in shape. So it will give them a little bit more dimension again, even though I do believe it has a lot of dimension. So there you go. I hope you will give it a try. If you don't have any oval dies, don't worry, you still can do this. Think about internet. Go and type oval, you Google ovals, and then you're just going to print it. If you can print it on some heavy cardstock, do that. Otherwise, just use this as a template, and then you just need to draw around, cut. It's just going to take a little longer, but you will still be able to make beautiful bows using what you have home if you don't have oval dies. Don't go and run and see how you do that. Don't forget, I have a video how you make bows. I will put the link up in the upper right corner so you can check that one out. But I wanted to show you another way, but I think it's interesting to use up your dies a little differently. So there you go. Please give me some thumbs up. Leave me some comments. I love to read you and always come back to you. And also subscribe to this channel, of course, and hit the bell button to get all the notifications. And please consider sharing on social medias. Thank you so much. Take care and see you soon.